You know, it's interesting. I've always been for the underdog. For some reason, God's always just given me a heart for someone that was hurting, for someone that was made to feel like an outsider. I was invited to go to the Dominican Republic on a trip with Giant Experiences and Compassion International. Loaded on a bus and went over to Compassion International's headquarters in the Dominican Republic and was shown a ceremony honoring some kids that had graduated from high school and had been selected to go to college. They had a look that was just incredible. It was almost divine. You could see that they loved God. You could see the presence of God in their hearts and in their faces and their expressions. This was my first encounter with a compassion product, if you will. Somebody that had experienced compassion and been part of their ministry, been part of their good work. And it was so obvious to see how God was working in their lives. You could see that they were a wonderful product of this incredible ministry. They knew that they had accomplished a great deal by getting their way through high school and graduating. But they knew even more that the future was going to be really exciting as they had the opportunity now to go to college and learn the skills they needed to make a huge difference in their homeland. And they were bound and determined to do that. It was exciting, it was thrilling, it was contagious. And it was like God was just speaking to me. What he was telling me was, they're the hope of the Dominican Republic. The hope of the Dominican Republic. It was so loud, it was like God had this megaphone and he just kept getting closer and closer to my ear. The ensuing days revealed to me that these kids are overcomers. These kids can change their world. I got to walk where they walked. I got to see the schools they attended, the churches they attended, where they worked. I got to see how deplorable some of their homes were. I got to see and smell the absolute horrific smell that will probably never be forgotten of the open sewers. As the week went forward and I experienced more and more of what their journey had been, the images that I saw on that first morning in those kids' eyes and in their heart and on their face, it just became more valid and more real to me as the week went on. God was putting it on my heart that we had an opportunity to help these kids change their homeland, that these kids were the hope. These kids had the desire, and with our help, they could change the Dominican Republic. They could change their lives. They could change the future of the kids to come behind. I remember Vanessa wanting to specialize in biomedicine. And Vanessa wants to work in her homeland and she wants to make a difference. And I think, wow, I have an opportunity to help her. I can mentor her. I can be there for her. She doesn't even have a dad now. So, you know, I could be somebody that could help her overcome problems, deal with problems, teach her how to live a Christian life, and perhaps even help her start a business through mentoring her from right here in the United States. I think one of the great things about Western business leaders, men and women, mentoring someone like Vanessa is the fact that if you walk her street, if you go to her neighborhoods, if you go to her church, you'll quickly learn that there aren't any other people that have graduated from college that are facing the same issues she's facing. If there are, they're very few and far between. Most haven't had that advantage. And so a Western successful business leader can take a young person like this and can pour into them biblical principles about how to live the Christian life in the workplace, how to become successful, really beginning in the university and moving into their professional life, how a Christian should respond to unfair treatment, to harsh treatment, how Christians should respond when people are trying to coerce you to do things you shouldn't do. What's the proper role of the Christian in the workplace to begin with? How does a Christian show love and concern for their fellow workers? How does a Christian glorify God? How is a Christian the light of the world in the workplace? All of those things we could teach them. And then if they want to start a business, we could coach them on how to do that. It's an incredible opportunity for us to further the ministry, the good work that Compassion's already doing by making ourselves available to the current programs that already exist and involve the business leaders and executives, both men and women, that can make a huge difference in teaching these young people how to be successful in business. Imagine what these emerging countries would look like as these Christian business leaders create jobs and prosper in their own careers. Imagine what the churches would look like as they have trained Christian leaders now working in these societies and attending church. The churches would be changed forever. They would be empowered like they've never been empowered before. Revenues would be there. Attendance would be there. Educated leaders that could do critical thinking and help prosper the church would be available to build the kingdom. What more exciting thing could you do with your life than to help mentor one of these young Christian people that desperately want it and need it? I really believe in this. I've been doing it for about 6 months with young people in emerging countries, and I can tell you, I have just seen incredible growth in these people. I've seen them start dreaming dreams, and I've seen them start working on their dreams. The impact is real. The time is now. Man, what a way to spend your life, knowing you're making a difference. I hope you'll join me in this venture. I hope you'll join me on this journey. I hope you'll join Compassion and help us make a huge difference in these young people that we've been sponsoring for decades.